Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of a Maquis sting operation. We have Vice Admiral Eric, who knows better than to hide his magnetic boots at the scene of the crime. True, I hope. I hope. Maybe not.
That's how most murderers are caught.
That is indeed. Commander Hawk is here and looking for experimental cloaking tech in all the wrong places.
It's so hard to find.
It's so hard to find. There might be something behind you. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Is it there? I think it's there. I think it's there.
I see nothing.
Nothing. Captain Giraffe is here, also here asking mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? We're gonna talk about...
You know that the mirror me and real me, prime me, are the same person.
They probably are, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
They probably are. And finally, Lieutenant Commander MC is here, who for some reason is having a terrible migraine right now.
I should have let him sleep.
Should have let him sleep. Welcome back. How are we guys doing?
I'm
All
good.
right.
Okay, yeah. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm still fighting with this thing.
So we're gonna have in this episode, Giraffe plays with cosplay episode 2, where yeah, it's gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun one. No, really, guys, this week you betrayed your uniform. That was my best Cisco. It was not very good. I could have done better. I was gonna have the soundbite, but I was too busy playing Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
So, sorry, not sorry. I had too much fun finding Rick. Yeah, that's right. We're talking the worst Starfleet betrayals this week, from disco to TNG to the films. We're going to go down a great list here tonight. So strap in. It's time to get your Badmiral on. YouTube chat, you're already hopping. Hello to you. Give us your thoughts all night long. We're going to go through all these great episodes and great betrayals, if betrayals can be great. But first, Giraffe, it has been a long time getting from there to here. You haven't done this in a while, I feel. You need to thank our Patreon collective at the Ready Room level and above, please.
There's so many people now.
There's so many people.
I have it. I swear I have it. I have it.
Lies.
No, I do. I opened it. Here we go. Reading Rainbow with Giraffe is back on the air. Thank you, patrons. Thanks to Simon Steiger, Jeff Rigg, Vaya Gosset, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joseph Porito, Noe Santos, Kung Hui, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Alan Davis, Chatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emilian Travis, Gildera, Cassie, Talk to the Hand, Maggie Light, allied to the Canadian takeover, the French takeover someday maybe. Wayne Ritz, Scorn of Arc, Sean, Jay Howard, Mahalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Joshua Lewis, David Willett, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Wood Parakeet, Alex Sharkey, Joshua Miller, Adam Sanders, Ari Spangian. We're coming to the name that I'm not used to say, so I'll hold on. Lanky Guy, Cynthia Markey, Aaron Walkie, and Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Larry Holder, TJ, and our 2 newest collective members, Mayor, like Meredith, Mayor, and Caitlin.
Yay! Great job, Giraffe. Awesome. I even
messed up a little bit.
Well, I forgot to delete an "and" in there, and you still powered through. So more power to you.
Hey, I'm like a good soldier. First on duty.
You are.
Read all the words. Let's go.
Good job. You're getting lots of love in the chat, by the way, for your TikTok you did the other day.
I'm getting a hang on to keep. Okay, so TikTok. I learned that you cannot go live until you have 1,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to go live at
go live on the Strange New Pod account.
Try Long Island. And they're like, you can't, you're too small. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do more cosplay transition and people are liking it. So
there you go.
Let's go. Objective 1,000 followers for Giraffe.
I believe Tawny liked it.
Yeah.
Tawny Newsom. Yeah. Thanks to MC who tagged her in my
No
I'm not
shame.
gonna say anything.
No shame. I love it.
Yeah.
Matt Harker, the chat goes with you playing with the silver ring there, Jeff. I thought that was a handcuff for a brief moment.
Hey, no judgments.
No judgment. We don't judge on this show. Never.
What is it
Ever.
like? Whatever, tweak your freak.
Oh yeah, don't tweak your freak. Yeah, don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah. Just don't stick your head through a light bulb, please. That
So
would be
before
nice.
we get too deep, I think we should thank our executive producers, Chris Todd and Simon Stager.
Yes, thank you to them too.
There was one more line. Sorry.
I usually do it, but then we got distracted. It's okay. We did good. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Simon. You guys are awesome. News, guys. We have lots of news. We're off. We're off next week. And why are we off next week? Yeah, we're off because we're going to be in Trek Long Island. We're getting ready to go to Trek Long Island. I can't do a show and edit it and then drive to Long Island. So we're off next week.
Yeah.
But we are, if we're able to record our panels, and we're working on finding out that information, those are going to be released as bonus pods next week or 2 weeks. Anyway, it's going to happen. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But here's what our schedule there is going to look like. We have a lot going on as the pod. First off, at 10 a.m. on Saturday, Trek Podcasters Unite. That's going to be me, and I'm trying to convince MC not to do the panel because there's something she wants to do, and she should go and do it. But it might be me and MC along with podcasters from Sci-Fi Sisters, Woman at Warp, Trek Talking, the Big Sci-Fi Podcast, and Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner for a panel all about Trek podcasting. Pretty straightforward. It's kind of like the show, if you ever watched it, like, God, it was 2 years ago already. Like me, Fathery, Matthew, and the Duras sisters. It's going to be kind of like that. Matthew from Trek Untold is hosting that. So all about Trek podcasting. That should be fun. And then who do I have next to talk about this? Giraffe. What's our Saturday panel? What's going on our Saturday panel?
It's like more reading.
Oh, Saturday panel at 6 p.m. We're going to do TNG One Hit Wonder Villains. TNG offered up a variety of weird villains that, some that dead, some that didn't, but we're going to chat about them and maybe live record that. You already said that, but it's
Good
going to be
good to remember, though.
a happy mess.
It is going to be a
Especially
happy
with
mess.
my wide knowledge of TNG.
You're going to watch the episodes before, right?
I'm going to be the Romulans. Let me tell you about the Romulans. The Borg, yeah.
Oh God, no, that'll be fun. And then MC, what's going on Sunday?
At 1 p.m. on Sunday, we are going back to one of the first podcasts I did when we pitched a Kelvin movie, but this time we're pitching the fourth Kelvinverse movie with the cast we already have. So we don't know if it's going to happen, but we want to figure out what would be the best thing for them to do. We're going to crack the code of Paramount's release schedule and pitch our own version of the movie. So that's going to be all three of us. And we will plan out the fourth entry of the Kelvinverse movies.
Bold of you to say we're going to figure out Paramount's release schedule.
That's what you have written here in this.
Oh, I wrote that?
You did write that. And in the chat, take a guess who came up with this panel idea.
Oh, I wonder who. Any update on the table read? Yeah, when we have time, Matt. It's all about time. We will do that table read.
I'm on
I
it,
promise.
but it's complicated. I've been sick for a month, people.
Yep.
And I have
People have
cosplay
been
to make.
sick. We've been planning Trek Long Island. It's not that we can't do it. It's just got to get the time. We can do it. We can do it.
We can, but right now it's
it's not a good time to do it right now. That's right. So, anywho, it'll happen. Need flavor report, Eric. Tara says.
Vanilla today.
Vanilla. I miss you eating it through the Mando helmet. I'm not gonna lie.
It was hard. I had to clean that helmet out.
This is the way.
I want to know what the hell is going on.
Oh man. All right. And then you two, I'm bugging you. I'm putting a bug up your butt. What's not
Yes.
butt bugs, not butt bugs.
It's always butt bugs.
It's
though.
always butt bugs.
Yeah.
What's going on with trivia? What's happening with
So
trivia?
trivia, we're going to do that on Saturday, I believe. And we have
I mean,
no
maybe
information
because
on
there's,
it.
yeah, because like we're figuring out the Trek Long Island program at the same time than everybody. So apparently there's a masquerade on Saturday evening. So this will happen. This will
It
happen.
will happen. We have
Will
a theme.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
The theme is
Yes.
away missions.
Appropriate.
Yes, exactly.
Appropriate.
Exactly.
And basically, if you're a collective member and you hang out with us, then at some point there will be trivia.
Yeah.
Indeed. It'll be fun. We're going to figure it out. Who wants to take the next bit of news? Who wants it? Eric? Hawk?
I can take that.
Take it. Do it.
I have
So
ice
we
cream.
are. Yeah, we
Yeah,
are. in
you
the-
eat that ice cream.
Yeah, eat, Eric, eat. We are in the very, very early stages of possibly planning our first live event. It would take place in mid to late August for the Strange New World season finale, somewhere in Tirana.
You said it right.
Yep.
Good for you.
I had a drama teacher back in high school that and she said, if I hear any of you pronounce Tirana, you're out of this class.
When I lived in Toronto, I got so much shit when I didn't say it that way.
Tirana? It's Tirana?
Tirana. Yeah.
It's a
There-
way it's
Yeah.
this way that we pronounce it. Oh, you going to Tirana tomorrow?
No, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No,
That's awful.
There's no T's, there's R's in there for some reason.
It just kind of rumbles out.
Toronto. Toronto.
Tirana.
It's
Tirana.
Tranna. Toronto.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
the news?
Toronto.
Tirana. Tirana's the news.
Yeah, that is the news that we are in the middle of,
Toronto.
fact fighting on our first live event taking place for the Strange New World season finale. So we have a poll out on Twitter and Discord, just seeing who's interested in, like, who's in the area, who'd be willing to travel. And so we want to hear from all of our listeners.
Yep.
Sorry, I just took over on the news.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm still stuck on
We should
Tirana.
do it August 24th to 27th because that's Fan Expo.
Oh,
Ooh.
Ethan Peck is going to be there.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
actually isn't a bad idea.
Oh, yes.
All right.
So you know who else is going to be there? MC.
The
Well-
fates are aligning on this one, I think.
Plans upon plans. Maybe that's what we'll do instead. That might be the better plan. All right, folks. Paul, I already have some takers. That's good. Do we want to get into this? We actually still have to do the Strange New Loop. We have one this week. Let's do it. It's Strange New Loop time. So when I announced the episode that we were doing this week, I had a couple of comments on social media regarding Commodore sunglasses, Commodore O. And I ask you guys then, are her actions, sunglasses notwithstanding, considered a betrayal? Or,
No.
nah, right? Or is it just straight up
She's a spy, man.
infiltration? Yeah, it's just straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was never Starfleet.
No.
Right. Well, she was. But she was.
No.
EMA basically in name only.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's more a Manchurian candidate, like knowing what she's doing than
Right, right.
She's just a how do you call like a sleeping agent?
Sleeper agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleeper agent, yeah. And she just waited to be here at the right time, at the right moment, and the right place to do what she had to do.
For it to be
Yeah.
a betrayal, you have to, at one point, have believed in the cause, which she never did.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Listen, if it was a betrayal, I would have so chosen her. First of all, I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
No,
Right?
she basically like Matt Damon's character in the Departed. You know.
Oh, that's a great fucking example.
Spoilers.
Nice. Oh, come on.
Spoilers.
It's been out for a while.
I hope you saw that movie.
Oh my god, I totally spoiled that Picard died in season 1 on the radio the other day. And my host was like, dude, spoilers. I'm like, dude, the show's been out for like 3 years. Picard died. He's positronic now. We don't talk about it. We still try to forget. It's okay. Haven wrote, strangely, she betrayed Starfleet as much as Grudge betrayed Michael. Yeah, sure. Okay. Sure. Why not? Matt writes, I'm forgetting, did Picard ever disclose what caused the synths to go rogue? It wasn't O, right? Well, it was the Zhat Vash, right? Wanting to
Definitely.
destroy them. So it was kind of a little bit of O, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was O was going to come with the Romulans and eradicate them. We're like, oh, we're gonna. This is why Picard season 1 fucking sucks.
I mean, she was positioned
I
for
still
it, right?
think it's the Vauna cat virus. I will die on that hill.
Did they ever address the fact that the Zhat Vash just completely fucked over all of Romulus by the synth attacks?
Yeah, right? Like, not good on their part. Yeah, I think we talked about that. I think we've definitely talked about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I wasn't around
fucking
at the time,
themselves
so-
is like
What they
kind of
do.
redundant.
Yeah, true. True. I wanted to get that out of the way. That was a pretty easy one, but it's true. It's infiltration,
Yeah.
not betrayal. Not betrayal. Let's get into this, guys. Starfleet's worst betrayals. MC, you are up first tonight. What do you have? What's your worst Starfleet betrayal?
So my worst Star Trek betrayal was in Star Trek Into Darkness. And I'm not talking about the entire movie not being a ripoff of Wrath of Khan. But Admiral Marcus and his Section 31 betrayal. I think what makes him like the worst in my mind is that, I mean, Marcus was like running Starfleet. So I equate it almost to like Hydra and Shield in Captain America, whichever one that was.
Winter Soldier, the best MCU movie ever
that
made.
is-
That
yeah.
one? Yes.
Yeah, so like the Section 31 is like really big in the Kelvinverse. Like there's like this, it's not just like this tiny department of like, shadow agents, but like it's
A
super
vast
like
network, right?
yeah. It's really the more militaristic approach of Starfleet in the wake of the Kelvin disaster and then the destruction of Vulcan, that it's completely going against everything that the Federation believes in. This idea that they have to be ready for all of these attacks. So it's such a huge betrayal of everything that Starfleet believes in.
I like the link between like with the Kelvinverse and that, because the introduction of the Narada, must have like shaken them to
Yeah.
their core, right? This ship that they had no defense against.
Yeah. I like that it's the betrayal really comes near the end of the movie, right? Spoilers if you haven't seen Into Darkness. Where he's gonna be like, I'm just gonna fucking kill you all, right? Like I'm just gonna blow up your ship and frame you and be like, Captain Kirk betrayed Starfleet. That's like the betrayal. That's the fucked up part. But just the fact that Marcus is a total like warmonger, right? Like he wanted to start a war with the Klingons. Because in this universe, right, like Starfleet is more technology, like they're like already technology wise, I think like past what they had in TNG because of the Narada.
Because of the Narada, yeah.
Yeah. So
And I mean, it's such circular logic where it's like, we're going to get into a fight with the Klingons. So let's start a war with the Klingons.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
This is a good
And
pick.
he indirectly caused Pike's death. So fuck
He did.
that.
He did. Yeah, that sucks. I hated that. Sorry. I hated that scene in the movie. Still think they shouldn't have killed off Pike.
They should not have.
No.
Though he does get his comeuppance in like the
Oh,
best possible way.
That's like the best thing that Khan does in that movie.
There's so much bone crushing in Into Darkness, right? Like MC, why don't you tell us what happens to Admiral Marcus for people who may not have seen this movie?
Khan crushes his head like he's, they're in a battle to the death in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Very Game of
Oh,
Thrones. Yeah.
Very Game of Thrones.
poor Mando.
Oh my god, that totally is, right?
Layers upon layers of geekery.
Yep. Matthew from Check Untold in the chat. Curse you, sudden but inevitable betrayal. Curse you. Yes.
Rawr.
Comeuppance deserves to be on a sticker. Oh man, I agree.
And seriously, who thinks that they can control Khan? Like,
Hubris, white men. I don't know. Badmirals. Like
I, yeah.
I have a list for you.
Badmirals.
It's a known trait among Badmirals. It's like, so what?
We have literally weapon of mass destruction, and we're like, it's cool. The people in charge got it. Like, no, like people play with things they should not be play with. Like it's how it is.
He may be one of the most successful betrayers, in that just how much destruction he actually causes.
Well, dude, you're not kidding. We haven't even talked about the fact that the Vengeance crashes into San Francisco and destroys like a quarter of the fucking city.
True.
Like, dude, come on. We're gonna talk about Mine, where
it's
much later where people die, but this is like, dude, how many people fucking died in San Francisco because of
Nah,
him?
it's cool. It's like in Picard. It's just 100 casualty.
I thought you were gonna say Man of Steel.
They're not important.
Like 73. What is it in Picard that like the whole building like collapsed in another part of the city in the like,
100. Oh yeah, the
100?
right, yeah, right. Oh.
It's fine. It was empty. There was
It was
nobody.
fine, right?
It's
There was nobody.
empty warehouse.
It was a
Man of
weekend.
Steel.
No one was there.
17 says Colin D.
Oh man. Oh,
117.
okay.
Easy.
Yep. Anybody else have anything on Admiral Marcus in Section 31? And shit, I like that line. I wasn't gonna let you go anyway. Right? Such a dick.
Just a shout out to Peter Weller. He's always an amazing dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He brought
I'd really like to.
No, he really elevated the end of Enterprise.
Yes.
That
The
should-
true finale.
That
of
should have been the
Enterprise.
finale, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see the Prime version of him.
Mm.
I
Of,
want to see how of Marcus. I want to see how different he is without the.
Who would
The-
you cast from that era of Trek, though? From like actors?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, the era could be now.
I want to know era then. Early 80s,
Oh my
late
God.
70s.
Hmm.
Oh, I broke it.
You broke the pod.
It's cool.
That's something we have to think about.
Yeah.
That's a
Another
really
time.
good question, though.
I mean, do you
Shit.
know how
No,
long it
Tom
took us to
Selleck,
cast
why
the
not?
TNG
Tom Selleck would be
Kelvin
good.
movie?
Tom Selleck.
Yeah,
Would be
Tom
good.
Selleck.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good question. Damn. I'm looking at this comment. Giraffe, it's no different than how many people died in Angel Grove. Nearly no one died in all of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you want to believe that, they evacuated the city every time.
warehouse. It's the same.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
empty cities. Everybody was off having a picnic somewhere else that day. So lucky.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tom Selleck in
just
Star
on
Trek. Yes,
the-
please, says Donnie Pearson. Go ahead.
On the
Nancy.
Angel Grove reference, I actually have the original Power Rangers comics that came out, and there is a reference to them fighting in the abandoned warehouse district.
It's true.
Oh, that's with you. We're talking about this. I was like, I don't remember with whom I was talking. Maybe not.
No, you were
Which one was
talking.
I talking about this? I was totally talking about this with somebody. Anyway.
The abandoned
Anyway.
warehouse
Sorry.
section.
Anyway.
This is where we keep our
Yeah.
abandoned warehouses.
I'm gonna keep bringing up Man of Steel and then them going and fighting on that like abandoned island in Batman vs Superman because everybody couldn't stop about the fact that like Superman and Zod took down like 100 skyscrapers and a shit ton of people died. Yeah, we just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of not talking about anything, that's what a cabal of conspirators are supposed to do. Eric, you're up. What's going on? What's your worst Starfleet betrayal?
The conspiracy plot, the Kettemer one in Star Trek 6, where Valeris, the prodigy of Spock, becomes one of the conspirators and betrays the crew and sets up Kirk and Bones to you got it, to go to jail, and they set him up for the murder of oh my god, why is my brain blanking? Gorkin, yes. This plot was amazing. It paralleled a lot of the political turmoil that was happening in the world at that time, because this film came out in 91. And I thought it was very fitting that someone so logical would be the betrayer on the Enterprise. It was a shock when I saw it. I was 10 years old. Of course, it was a shock. But the fact that they also had a group of Federation officers, Klingon officers, and Romulan officers all joining together to make sure that they don't join together was sort of ironic and fitting to show that they could actually work together to bring about something like peace. I thought it was phenomenal. Thoughts?
Star Trek 6 is my favorite Star Trek movie. Everybody knows that.
I love that one.
I absolutely adore this. I adore it because it's like this show's really like the nastiness. Like I think the nastiest Starfleet ever is, right? Especially you really need to watch the director's cut. It's the only version of the film that you should watch because you learn so much more about who was involved, not just Admiral Cartwright, but Colonel West, who was played by Rene Auberjonois, Odo. Yeah, thank you. So many conspirators, both on the Klingon side and on the Starfleet side. It was bad, right? And the fact that it's Valeris, right? Like
you
that
see Spock
Vulcan,
get angry at her.
angry.
It was
like
crazy.
Spock has so much emotion in this movie,
And he had sponsored her all through Starfleet. Like,
yep.
he was like right in there. He was family to her, or she was family to him.
Yep.
So I do have to bring up a question. Do you think that they should have kept it as Saavik, as the original script called for?
That would have been cool.
It would have been great. I had they been able to get Robin Curtis, and I don't remember why they changed
She couldn't.
it. I don't think
she couldn't
do it. She wasn't
Was
available.
it that I didn't know if
I thought
they
that's what it
had
was.
wanted. I thought they wanted to go back to.
Oh, they wanted to
Kirstie
bring
Alley.
Kirstie Alley back.
No.
Okay. I still would have really liked it. I think it would have been great. It would have been a nice plot twist. It would have had a little bit more of an emotional kick because we knew Saavik, but it still hits. It still hits hard, right? Because I mean,
She's
I
also
don't
leading
remember-
the investigation throughout the movie. So
Yeah.
you're rooting for her the whole time, and then to find out she was the one who had betrayed her.
I never suspected her as a kid.
Yeah.
Like it's the first Star Trek movie I ever saw. My favorite moment too is when she's going to go shoot them in sick bay. And Spock's like, the logical choice is to shoot. You have to shoot. And she goes, I do not wish to. And he's just like, boom, knocks it out of the hand. He gets mad.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like he gets so mad and so good. So good. I love this movie. Yes.
And never is
The Romulan fashion sucks, though.
Yeah.
The Romulan fashion
That's
does
true.
suck. The Romulans
mind-
were involved too.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Romulans were involved. Yeah, Eric mentioned that. Yeah, the mind meld has never been so scary. Like, I mean, like we always joke about how the fact that like Spock will like mind meld at the drop of a hat. But in this, like you almost wonder if he did that on purpose. Like, because I mean, he's mind melded with unwilling people before. It's just like he really goes in there because he's just like so angry at her betrayal.
Right. And that's always been a big debate of whether like, that's like an abuse, if that's like basically Vulcan rape, right?
It
or
looks like an
torture.
abuse. Like
it does,
they
or torture.
play
Yeah.
it in a way that, and I mean, she is not willing, so
Right.
it's the definition.
Yeah. I would define it as Vulcan waterboarding, which
Right,
granted,
yeah.
not better.
Not better, but yeah. Haven's asking if Grandpa Worf was involved. Grandpa Worf was in the movie and he was actually Kirk and Bones' counsel.
He was on their.
He was their counsel, but was not one of the cabal of conspirators. Colonel West, though, does in the director's cut dress in full Klingon garb and tries to assassinate Azet Bur, Gorkon's daughter. But I believe it's Scotty that shoots him out the window, and it's not in the normal film. Grandpa Worf goes and touches the blood, and the Stomp goes, "This is not Klingon blood."
Yeah.
And peels off the mask, and it's Colonel West. It's Odo, and that's not in like the main version of the film, which is hugely disappointing because it's so much better.
Odo's hardly in that film. Or
Yeah.
Renee.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So love it. G. Everett Claiborne says, I always thought of the Claiborne. I always thought of that mind meld as rape. Yeah, it's definitely an assault for sure.
I mean, it always makes me feel super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I like.
Yep.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Nimoy actually regretted doing that scene the way they did it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he also wrote the
Yeah,
if I
his
recall
story is
correctly.
by him, but
Yep.
the
Yeah.
but the
Yep.
script isn't.
Co-wrote. Yeah, co-wrote,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But he didn't feel like it was a good representation of Spock at the time, right?
I
Like
think so,
what
yeah.
Spock would do.
I don't know. I feel like that's a hard question.
I feel with the other representation of Spock that we have now,
Mhm.
it kind of matches.
Right.
Like you can see him lose his shit up and like getting violent and and emotional about thing. But I think at that time, without all the rest of Star Trek, I think it was out of character. I remember being
Right.
quite like, I don't know.
We've
I didn't like it. I remember being really shocked by it.
Yeah. We've done an episode on Undiscovered Country. I don't know if we talked about it there, though. And I guess, since we're talking about betrayals, I mean, I think it's important to ask. I mean, do you think, even though this is a really fucked up thing that he does, is it the option? Like, what's the other option in this situation for Spock with another assassination about to take place? They have absolutely nothing. They are all out of clues.
I think
what
Kirk would
do
have
you
asked
do?
him anyway to do it. I think they were out of options. Like they had
Yeah.
to. Unfortunately, like it's either that or they full out torture her, which
Right.
Mm.
And I don't
Which
even
is basically
know if
what they were
Starfleet.
doing.
Yeah, they were
right.
doing
Well, yeah, but I don't even know if Starfleet has a torture protocol. Like, do they?
I don't think
Section
so.
31, right? But
Mm.
They could have put her down. I don't know, like like at least make her sleep or something.
right. No, that's
Can
a good
you
point.
can you
Yeah.
mind meld while sleeping?
Oh,
Yeah.
Spock
Sure.
does that all the
I
time.
don't
That's it,
remember. It just seems weird.
Yeah.
He mind melded with a wall once.
With a rock.
Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Anything else on Star Trek 6 and Valaris's betrayal and Admiral Cartwright's and Colonel Rest and the Romulan ambassador Noclis? That's his name, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He's a weird looking dude.
Ew.
He was. Come on. Oh man. Hawk, you're up. What's
All right.
going on? What's
So-
your worst Starfleet betrayal?
My choice was from TNG season 7, episode 12, the Pegasus. So brief recap: the Enterprise is given a mission under the purview of Starfleet intelligence and an Admiral Eric Pressman, who was Riker's first captain. They're ordered to the Devlin system near the Romulan neutral zone. Their mission is to retrieve any technology from the USS Pegasus, the ship thought destroyed after a disaster and a mutiny on board. Riker is troubled about the mission and Pressman, but is bound by Starfleet to follow orders, even when Pressman places the Enterprise in danger to get at the experimental technology on board the Pegasus. We find out that the technology in question is a cloaking tech that Starfleet developed, not only to provide a ship with a cloaking system, but also a matter-altering field that allows ships to pass through solid objects. This tech violates the Treaty of Alderaan, the peace agreement with the Romulans that has kept everything cool between the Federation and the Romulan Empire for over
Cool.
60 years. Yeah, pretty cool.
Cool.
It was such a violation of that because, the treaty specifically says that the Starfleet will not develop cloaking technology. But for the Badmirals and for the intelligence and that, the rules never seem to apply. It's like, that treaty put us at a disadvantage militarily in that for the last 60 years. So, yeah, we get to do it anyways. No. Pressman is obsessed with the technology, but the lives of the people in the Enterprise and the lives of the people on the crew of the Pegasus, they mean nothing to him. This is why they mutinied. The technology was unstable and it caused a warp core overload. I always love Riker's conflict throughout this entire episode because he was a kid when this happened. He was like 7 months out of Starfleet, and he ended up pretty much what he thought was on the right side of the mutiny. But he had 12 years to think about everything he did. And I do love that was him that put an end to it. But yeah, Pressman, again, the white male arrogance. It's like we're not allowed to have this technology, but we still want it anyway, so therefore we can.
You forgot a really important part in your episode summary. You forgot how Riker went onto the holodeck and watched the finale of Enterprise.
Fucking hell. God damn
that.
it.
I don't think that he
God.
forgot. He omitted.
Omitted. That's excellent. I've never forgotten that terrible episode. I've just omitted it.
Oh my god.
It was a bad treaty to be signed. Well, technically, Starfleet has the cloaking device since Kirk. You remember the Enterprise
Yeah, that's
incident?
Mhm.
And then they never talked about it ever again. So, if the Romulan have it, why not us? I mean,
Also, they have the bounty, as we find out in Picard.
true.
That's true.
So I went on the Duras sisters a while back, and we were talking about Riker. It was the Riker episode. And I'll say what I said there. I actually have very strong opinions defending Pressman and Starfleet here. I think that the Treaty of Alderaan is bullshit.
Absolutely.
It's absolute bullshit. Starfleet should be developing cloaking technology, and that should have been a clause that wasn't in there. I think that Pressman is wrong, definitely, to keep going on with the experiments, right? But what keeps getting overlooked when people talk about this episode on podcasts and recaps is that this wasn't like a Section 31 project. This had the full Starfleet intelligence backing. This wasn't like a secret thing. They were doing it because the Romulans were trying to fuck around and find out, and Starfleet was like, "We're fucking done with this. We're gonna do the cloaking tech." So I'm all about Starfleet doing it, and I really don't like how Picard treats Riker in this episode, because classified is classified, right? And especially if this information does get out to the Romulans, that like it's sketchy in the sense that they are breaking a treaty, but at the same time it's a bad treaty in the first place. So Picard shouldn't have been trying to, if he wanted to get the classified documents like unredacted, you go to Starfleet. You don't give your like the way he treats Riker in this episode is really unfair. When he like you said, MC, it was a U-Hawk. Sorry, he was a kid, right? He was a kid when this happened. Like, it's not fair to treat him this way. If you're gonna treat someone like shit, and he does, treat Pressman wrong, because he did fuck up, right? He took the experiment too far. It wasn't working. People died. There was a mutiny. It doesn't mean that the experiment was a bad idea, or that classified should remain classified when you're dealing with a villain and adversary who are looking for any excuse to press the red button, right? So, yeah, I have strong feelings about this episode. Riker did nothing wrong. Picard was kind of a dick, and Pressman still should have been court-martialed. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a betrayal, though, right? It's a betrayal on his crew. I don't think it's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
That's what I gather from it. Yes, there was a lot of arguments that said that Starfleet should have just said, screw it, we're developing cloaking technology, because like two of our major enemies are, have it. Yep. Klingons, obviously they were, friends at that point, but it was always still tense in that, and they had a huge technological advantage with cloaking shields. Romulans, yeah, I mean, like, outright enemy with a huge advantage tactically. It's that Pressman basically puts like the project above all others.
Yes.
Yep. Doesn't care about the lives that it costs, and that it's like when he thinks about the people who mutinied, like after that, after there was that huge explosion, and he was more interested in saving the technology than the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And when he looks back on it, he just remembers them as traitors.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't. I think that the treaty is bullshit. Like, I don't think there's any problem with the Federation coming up there and cloaking technology. I think the only reason they don't is for like out of universe, because it makes stories too easy. I mean, how many times did they use the cloak in DS9 when they finally, got
right?
I think, with Pressman, it's not the developing the technology, it's the not protecting his crew, because he was a captain.
Right. But what's funny about that whole situation in this episode, it's like Picard seems less concerned about the fact that people died than the fact that they were experimenting with cloaking technology. I'm like, dude, your priorities are in the wrong spot and you're getting mad at Pressman for the wrong reasons.
I think, like, from Picard's point of view, in that, like, when he got that report, and as he said, he had to pull a lot of favors just to get the report and that, and learn that there was a mutiny and that he was worried about Riker at that point. You know,
Right.
It's like, obviously, you know, Will's the guy he's known for the last, like, you know, 5 years, 7 at
7
that
years
point.
at that point.
I think so. Even though it's weird because Riker during the episode said he's had the beard for 4 years.
No.
Yeah.
Star Trek chronology. Like, they
Yeah.
forgot in the middle of writing the episode. It's fine. It's fine.
That's why Stardates exist, so that we don't remember
Yeah.
when things take place.
Yeah.
But Picard's reading this report that says that Will threw down with Pressman during the mutiny, and that, you know, which, you know, he was shocked at the fact that, like, on a Federation ship that something like that could possibly happen. But now that Pressman's on board and is basically taken over the ship, you know, and taking command of it, and that Will is still keeping secrets from him, you know, under orders or not. He, you know, it's like it's like he knows that there's something's very wrong with Will at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this episode. I don't love
episode.
these are the Voyages connection. I love this episode.
Stop it.
Oh, I'm sorry. We do know that we do find out in Discovery that the Treaty of Alderaan was nullified because the Disco has a cloaking device. Yep, after the refit. So
I mean, there's no treaty of 900 years that we still
right.
Yeah,
respect.
right.
Like,
But no, wait. No, because isn't that how, or well, not 900 years, but 400 something years. Isn't that how Disney said "fuck you" to Ron DeSantis about trying to?
Oh, yeah.
Right. They used like some law
The royalty
that
thing.
that has to do with the king and England and royalty.
That
It's wild.
it ends with the death of his last living heir.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was such brilliance. I love it. Don't fuck with Disney's
still,
lawyers. ladies and
900
gentlemen. No,
years?
you're right.
like the society and the geopolitical thing like changes so fast
Yeah.
already. You imagine in 900 years? Like,
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm just the cloaking technology thing. It's so weird having it be in an actual treaty. I'm sorry, but that seems like more of like a patent issue.
Yeah.
and in like I think that with the fact that the Romulan like blew themselves up, there's no
Right.
big power. I mean, there's the Klingon like still with like cloaking device, but then there's no more treaty by definition because they're not
Right.
here anymore.
Right.
We also don't know what's happened to the Klingons.
Nope.
In Discovery, we haven't.
In Disco, no.
And
Not
I feel
yet.
like we never will.
Yeah.
So
As
sad.
Haven says, the Romulus signed the treaty, Navarre did not. Yeah, basically it was the Romulan Star Empire that came up with the treaty
Yeah.
and that. And it's like when that empire is gone, so is the treaty.
Yep.
The
So does
treaty
that
is
mean
gone,
in any
yeah.
like legacy era stuff we might start to get cloaking devices on starships? There's no more Romulus.
Hey,
I mean, the Titan has one
Yep.
now.
not anymore.
Well,
Not
yeah.
yeah.
anymore.
I
Frickin'
had
bored.
one.
Frickin' bored kids. Gotta blow it up. Sad. Giraffe. What's going
Yes.
on? What's going on?
Okay, people are gonna yell at me because I said that O was not a traitor, but okay, I chose Lorca because I know that he's not Starfleet to start with, but I asked you guys and you told me it was okay.
He-
So
He took his place though. So
he took his
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
and he still gained the trust of that crew and betrayed
Well,
that trust in a huge fucking
for
way.
And I mean, he is
I-
Starfleet, just different Starfleet.
well, for me, the betrayal was towards me. Because they had me believe that guy like was like the real Lorca
Mhm.
for how many fucking episodes?
It
Yeah.
was at least 10 or so.
Yeah,
It
something
was.
like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's all this thing where you understand that like there's something about him that is like kind of like unhinged, but like what's new with Star Trek captains, you know? So the fact that I really like is that by definition, Lorca didn't do anything wrong.
Was waiting for you to say that.
Lorca did nothing
I
wrong.
mean,
I think
Lorca
he
did nothing
He did a
wrong.
couple things wrong, I think.
Okay, he could have killed Cornwell and he didn't. He brought Michael out of jail where she was rotting for most probably ever because Sarek just like dumped her there and forgot about her.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he was in
real?
love. He was in love with Michael in his dimension, and that, and he was
Well,
wanted
that's a
to take
whole
her.
that's a whole thing that like we'll address later because like the age difference is like kind of messed up, like totally messed up. Like there's totally a lot of grooming going on in that
Yeah.
relationship in the Mirrorverse, which it's a Mirrorverse, so they're all
It makes
horrible, you know.
yeah, I was about to say. Yep.
He even slept with Cornwell. Well, so what?
But so I always love, I do agree with the Lorca did nothing wrong, and I always like saying it to be like, oh, Lorca's such an asshole. But he did do one bad thing, and that was he did convince Cornwall to go to that meeting where he knew
Mhm.
she was going to be captured.
Yeah,
Right? By
But
the
she
Klingons,
came
or even
out
killed, right?
Well,
She
yeah,
made it.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it was better because like how to explain that Sarek would have been like captured. You know, that's like
Right.
it's an elegant way to like keep the continuum of the story. But I like the fact that I felt betrayed. Like
Yeah.
in all the other betrayal that we've seen, like I don't think I felt betrayed by. They're bad. Like you know how they played. You're like, that's a bad mural. You know, I think it was the first time that a captain really got me. Like I was on the fence. What is going on in the chat?
No,
I'm trying to
I
scroll
got
back.
it. I got it.
And I felt like I think horrible as I didn't see that coming at first.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. Nope.
Like when they were like, "Oh, he's from the mirror universe," I was like, "What?"
And you go back and you see all the subtle hints that they put in. It's
The
like,
eye
I'm a
stuff?
fucking idiot. The
Man.
eye stuff.
Eye stuff. Like I was like, how? You know how? Because we didn't have Star Trek on TV for so long that we forgot and like we're not ready. But I like the fact that he's more of a betrayer in the Mirrorverse than
Right.
actually the Primeverse,
Yeah.
which makes him like a traitor in a way that is so weird for Star Trek because it doesn't really have a cause that is unjust by itself. He's trying to throw the government, which is a horrible government, and we're like, what was his plan? Like, what was he doing? And I want to know what happened to Prime Lorca also.
Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
Strange New
Okay.
Worlds.
It'd be a
Strange
great
New Worlds.
excuse to get Jason Isaacs back.
Yes,
God, I want it
give
to
Jason
happen
Isaacs
so
more
bad.
work.
Yes.
I just want to see
So,
Anson
yeah, like,
Mount and him
Lorca-
together and like imagine
Oh my
that
god, I
chemistry.
don't
Come
think
on.
I could deal with
Too
that.
hot. Too hot. Too hot.
That show's already
And
too
a
full of hot people.
Yeah, nah, this is gonna be too
No, we
much.
need some more.
One more betrayal on that we never really talk about. How about the fact that he took the one technology in that could have saved the Federation in the Klingon War, and he just used it to hitch a ride home?
Right. I know I was supposed to put my talking point in the outline. I obviously didn't do it, as you can see. But
Why is anybody shocked?
Did MC
the
freeze?
fact that MC?
MC
Oh.
might have froze.
Oh yeah, she's definitely
That's
frozen.
so wait, I need a screenshot of that. Oh my god.
Too hot. It was like the hotness of thinking of
Oh, that's brilliant.
this Disco season 5 maybe. Let's see. Yeah, the fact that Discovery disappeared for so long, and we know also that the Enterprise disappeared for literally almost all the war. So they were out of like there were two most powerful ship, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. But yeah, the betrayal of Lorca, because we still don't really have a hang about like what was going on and why was he doing all this and where was it going. I love it because his betrayal actually brought more good than bad in the end.
Yes.
Oh, the silence.
It's
Michael is
Sorry, I
out
had
of
to think
jail.
Yeah.
yeah.
Michael is out of jail.
Yeah.
she is rehabilitated. She comes back to Starfleet. He basically kind of take Disco out of an insane war where they most probably would have been killed.
Mhm.
You
He
know,
does bring
Uh,
Ash Tyler aboard, who then kills, Hugh, which is a pretty
But
big
he-
fuck
Did he
up.
know about
No,
who
he
Ash was?
didn't.
He didn't know.
No, he didn't.
Then that's not his fault. That's another betrayal. Well,
Oh,
that's another
Is it a
betrayal
it's
too.
actually the better betrayal, right?
is it I mean, that actually is a better strategy to do. Ash Tyler, betrayal or infiltration.
True, that's
True.
a good question. That's a
Right.
good one.
Mm.
Yes.
MC, I'm feeling a TikTok coming up, maybe.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, so that's why I chose Lorca. And I still want to know. I need to know.
I would love Prime Lorca to be as big of a dick as Miller Lorca.
Yes.
I really would.
Yes.
Like
You
a
know,
lot.
Section 31 like movies or whatever they're doing, maybe they'll address it.
I would
Maybe
hope
we'll
so.
know what
Yeah.
happened to Prime Lorca and what happened, like what was the whole thing? Why was he going to throw the government down and so on? I want to
Do
know.
you think?
I really want to know.
Do you think William Boimler is going to be in the Section 31 movie?
I hope so.
I hope so.
We really hope.
Who
so.
would
That
you
would be
cast?
interesting.
Who would you cast?
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, yeah.
Jack Quaid. He's already playing himself in Strange New Worlds.
Not true.
And also, whichever Scream movie he was in, you can
Five.
see
But
a
C6
dark-
because it's better.
a darker version of Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. Yep. And he's going to be in Oppenheimer.
Jack Quaid?
Yep. Jack Quaid is in
Ooh,
Oppenheimer.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I just saw the
Yep.
new trailer. I can't
Yep.
wait for that.
Anything else on Gabriel Lorca and hiding phasers under your
Gabriel.
pillow?
Oh my god! First of all, I love his name. Like,
He's got a
great
great
name.
name.
it's
Yeah.
such a badass name for a
Yeah.
captain. We
Yeah.
need to know Prime Lorca. We really do. We really
Yeah.
do. Give us that. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yep. Me. Wow, we're already nearing the
Julian,
end.
before you get into this, did you choose your shirt for the betrayal aspect of it?
Yay.
Fuck yeah, I did.
Baba,
That was
betrayed
sometimes
me.
my shirts are not on purpose, but this was very much on purpose today. Yes, 100%.
Little golf clap for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Two of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine. And by the way, huge random occurrence. Jessie Gender did her awesome video, which I'm not done watching yet, but on Picard season 3 and mentions these. And
It's so good.
It's really good. It's really good so far. And she mentioned these episodes being two of her favorites. So we share a brain cell sometimes. I love Jessie.
Peanut Hamper doesn't count.
No, I was going to say though. No, Peanut Hamper is 100% a betrayal. 100. And people mailbag. No Peanut Hamper in the mailbag. People, come on.
Nobody wants to remember Peanut Hamper.
No, true. So this is my picks were Admiral Layton's coup attempt during the Changeling threat on Earth in Homefront and Paradise Lost, season 4 of Deep Space Nine. For a brief recap, if anybody forgot, changelings do infiltrate Earth, though that is actually a little bit debated by the end of this episode. I don't think we're actually ever quite sure if Layton had that meeting bombed and he was like, he did the whole thing. It's assumed at the beginning of the episode that the changelings bombed that meeting with the Romulans and Starfleet. And that's why Layton brings Cisco to be the new head of Starfleet intelligence or Starfleet security. And he goes to the president and it was like, we need to have phaser sweeps and we need to have blood tests for all Starfleet personnel because obviously changelings on Earth. And that was true. We find that out in Paradise Lost. There are changelings on Earth.
Yeah. But there's only like 2 of them.
4, but close. Yes, he says 4. It could have been 2. We don't know. And it's a really good episode, right? Because Layton thinks he's right so much to stage a coup and basically bring military law to the Federation. But the fact, like, you know, he's already making all the wrong moves, right? By using the people closest to him. That never looks good on files, which is why Cisco's able to figure this out, right? He uses cadets, right? That's the one kind of smart thing he does. But then everybody who he helps to stage his coup are like former officers that he had under his command, including Cisco, including Commander Benteen, who then takes command of the Lakota, right? But he thinks that this is the only way to prevent changelings and the Dominion from taking over Earth. And it's obviously more from that. It's more than that for Leighton, right? Like he's a true Badmiral. Like he wants to do that, but you could tell, and especially in Paradise Lost, when he starts like basically wanting to kill people, he just wanted to be in power.
Yeah.
It's so good though, right? Because these two episodes, part of the reason I like these is that they aired pre 9/11, right? These episodes aired in 1996, but it hits so much differently after 9/11, right? Because of the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act, right, after 9/11 happens, and Bush, does the propaganda in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Patriot Act had bipartisan support, huge bipartisan support when it was, and that was the wiretaps and everything. And people were like, "Yeah, fucking let's do it." Like, I want to feel safe. And when Sisko and Leighton go to the president with with Odo in a briefcase and shows the threat, he's like, yeah, okay, security and Earth and people on Earth are happy about it because of misleading propaganda. So if you watch these after 9/11, they hit so much harder, right? It's creating fear, right, for something that wasn't there. This is a big betrayal. And a great betrayal because there's lives lost, right? Like this is the closest that Starfleet really comes to a full on, not civil war, because Leighton was this close to succeeding, right? But he was going to destroy the Defiant, right? 7 people died on the Defiant, 24 on the Lakota because they ended up firing on each other. This thing almost could have been the end of Starfleet. I love these episodes. I love everything between Sisko and his dad, and Sisko questioning everything, and to a point where he actually thinks that his dad's a changeling for a moment because of all the hysteria on Earth. Like these are just great episodes. And Leighton is, I forget the actor's name, but plays one of like the best Badmirals ever. So I love these episodes. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this one. So yeah,
I love the idea of sorry, everyone wanted to talk about this.
No,
The idea of power through paranoia. Because Leighton was he was so paranoid about this that he thought he was the only person that could fix it. And I think that's what made him his drive even stronger, which, and that power sort of corrupted him. Sort of, it totally did. It was Robert Foxworthy who played him.
thank you.
Foxworth. Sorry, MC. Here.
I'm just wondering, is that paranoia, or is that like almost like trying to think of the proper term for it, like almost like sociopathy, that he thinks that he's the only person
He's
who
the
can
only
do
one
it.
who could do it. Yeah.
That's so true. What I was going to say is that basically, like, I like the analogy to like 9/11 and how it's like all this stuff came before it and that, but also remember like in the 90s and that was like kind of the underbelly of that paranoia was when it was started in the 90s and that, especially in America, and that post Ruby Ridge, post Waco and that, and like
Even the Gulf War to a point, right?
Yeah. But even like the first attempted bombing of the World Trade Center happened then, and then like the FBI building and that, and Timothy McVeigh, like all the signs were there, and it's amazing. I think that those writers kind of picked up on that underbelly and that, and it's like it could happen here.
Yeah,
I'm too young to remember any of this.
Okay.
So I would like to make an interesting connection with this episode and another one of my favorite Deep Space Nine episodes. Admiral Leighton ends up using people that are loyal to him and a bunch of cadets who just want to follow like a charismatic leader. Compare that to the episode The Valiant, where it's basically a cult. Yep. So like there's a lot of these very cult-like issues with Admiral Leighton, which then kind of gets carried on to these cadets who all get killed, possibly in relation to Leighton being somebody that they looked up to and following in his example.
Yeah. Well, imagine being a Starfleet cadet during the Dominion War, right? Like how much of the curriculum went out the window and they were basically just training these kids for war?
Oh
Right.
yeah, they made them child soldiers. I mean, look at how
1000%.
fast
Yeah.
Nog
Yeah.
went through the academy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you
it's-
even see it in '09, like how fast this bunch of
Yep.
cadets just like went like full like let's go fight like right away.
Like the Federation was founded on the idea of like connecting and that this is and Starfleet was about exploration,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and discovery, not military. And this is where the biggest betrayal comes from.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, like say at the end of the Dominion War, and that do things return to normal, or do they find a new enemy to be scared of?
Well, as we kind of learn, right? Like through all the series that we've been watching and reviewing, Starfleet was still turning inwards after the Dominion War, right? Like they did not recover in the best way. So,
Can I say something controversial, but maybe a little bit brave?
yes.
They never should have. They never should have absorbed the Makos into Starfleet. They should have kept them separate. They should have had a separate military unit from Starfleet.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, that's what most like countries would do,
Right.
but
Yeah.
like it's too complicated in the storyline though.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
you see
yeah.
in how on Enterprise it's like
Well, I'm not talking about
near
this
the
from a
past.
story perspective right now. I'm talking about this from an in-universe, Watsonian.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's an interesting theory. It's an interesting point. Section 31 is just covert
They're
ops.
they're not.
and
They're covert
not
ops.
military,
Yeah,
they're
they're
the CIA.
military. Yeah, no, you're right. That's something
That would have been cool.
yeah, that would have been
That
cool.
sounds like another Strange New Loop that I'm going to
Sure
be putting up on
does.
Discord.
Sure does. Does anybody else have anything on these two? No?
Now I'm thinking about
Just
the
that this is
Makos.
one of my favorite two-parters.
Yes.
Yes.
Freaking love this one.
This and Defiant, my favorite episodes of
Yeah.
DS9. Sorry, go ahead.
And Leighton and Marcus are basically like Predator handshake in terms of their plan.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yep.
I think my favorite two-parters with a Starfleet betrayal is Equinox.
Oh,
be
yeah.
honest.
Also
Oh.
good. Yeah. 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 not on any lists and not on any
Yeah,
I'm
we can talk about that for
surprised.
a couple minutes. Yeah.
Like I'm surprised nobody shows Equinox.
time.
Like there's been no love for Voyager in these two last episodes.
I
of
know.
Strange New God.
I know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Equinox is really like the path not traveled when it comes to Voyager. Like Janeway very easily could have gone that route.
Yep.
Like, I mean, she did some very questionable things in her
Shady
time.
shit. Yeah, she did. But the thing with Equinox is how it goes from oh my god to like oh my god
Mm.
so fast.
this is I mean, that this is where Ron Moore got Pegasus a little bit too, like, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, look, we're all one big happy fleet. Like, there's another ship in the Delta Quadrant. We're gonna get home so much. Oh shit, you're not a good person. Fuck.
And you
Of
like
course.
this moment on Equinox where you're like, well, I understand why they did it. Like you're like,
Right. Yeah.
oh, yeah. I mean, it was a mistake. It was like, but then you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no,
Yeah.
and that's a fantastic. It's a season finale also.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like I remember being like mind blown by that episode and the twist in this episode, because at the beginning you're like so hopeful and then you believe them and then you're like, oh my god, they made a mistake, and it goes so fast, so bad, and the end
Yeah.
is just incredible.
Yeah.
Let's have some love for Voyager. I told me.
Oh
Right.
yeah, no, I love that one.
And Captain Ransom, we still don't know if he has any relation to Jack.
I think he does.
Yes.
I think he does. I think he
I would
has
say,
to. That's
yeah,
too
has
much of a
to.
coincidence. Yeah. Great episodes. People are asking about our next talking point, our last talking point of the night, and that is another great DS9 arc, and that is Cisco and Eddington. Man, and it's really not just Cisco and Eddington, right? It's Maquis betrayals overall. Starfleet
It covers
officer
3 series.
3 series, yeah, of Ro, right? Ro leaving Picard, and how I mean, the almost exact reactions that Jean-Luc and Sisko have to Ro and Eddington respectively is just this deep sense of betrayal, even though both of them okay, so let me backtrack real quick. The biggest difference between Ro and Eddington is that Ro didn't take advantage of her position to then go to the Maquis, right?
Yeah.
Like she wasn't feeding the Maquis any information from aboard the Enterprise. Eddington he wasn't a plant, but at some point he started having sympathies and started giving information and started,
Ro,
going against the uniform. Ro didn't.
Ro, I think also her background like really supported the Maquis
Right.
position.
Yep, it sure did. Yep. And Eddington's obviously it's hard. It's even hard to call Eddington a bad guy, right?
Yeah, because he got disillusioned, right? It wasn't,
Yeah.
wasn't
Well,
really
you have to remember,
his fault.
it's officers like Eddington and O'Brien and the somewhat older officers who fought in the border wars with the Cardassians and the Federation, who probably still have a lot of disdain for the Cardassians and do see these people getting mistreated. So Eddington going to the Maquis is not a stretch either. The difference is that he does feed them information. And it also leads to Cassidy getting arrested in the first episode when he does go fully over the Maquis. But then we get the whole I just watched it today or yesterday, the episode where Sisko finally hunts him down. It's called For the Uniform.
For the uniform, yeah.
It is so good. And when Eddington, Sisko thinks he has Eddington and then disables the Defiant and sends him over a copy of Les Mis, right? And compares Sisko to Javert. And it's just so good. I don't even know what to say. There's such good episodes. And honestly, like, I'm not talking about the Betrayals right now. It's such a good military episode for the uniform. You get like these beautiful shots of the Defiant that you don't see in a lot of the other episodes. You get like a very tightly shot episode, like they're on a submarine. It's just a great episode. Thoughts on Eddington and Ro? I know we've talked about Ro a lot lately, but these are very similar situations.
Talk about like terrible treaties that people need to fight against. Like this, again, controversial opinion. The Maquis are fucking right.
Yep. They definitely are.
Like that treaty that was signed with the Cardassians was bad.
Really bad.
These people deserve to be able to fight back.
Yep.
So apparently I'd be a Maquis who would be inventing cloaking technology. Or maybe just stealing the Defiant, because that's another one that we haven't talked about. Thomas Riker.
Yep.
So the Maquis was right. Lorca did nothing wrong.
And
What
cloaking
else?
technology should have been developed.
We should have.
So really, from a certain point of view, this isn't a betrayal episode. This was everybody else was fucking right episode.
Except Admiral Marcus.
exactly.
Fuck him.
Admiral Marcus and Leighton.
Yeah,
Those two
yeah.
were assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody have any other thoughts on Eddington and Ro? Good.
It's such a personal like especially for Sisko and Picard, it's a personal attack. Like it's not just about the uniform. It is the fact that they had a closeness to them. Like, I mean, I think less so with Eddington and Sisko, but certainly Eddington came to Thanksgiving.
Right. And went to a baseball game with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eddington, Sisko also comes very close to committing war crimes to get Eddington. I mean, he kind of actually does commit war crimes to get Eddington. And then the one thing that's kind of fucked up about the end For the Uniform is after they've caught Eddington, Jadzia is actually like joking with Ben about it. He's like, "Oh, you didn't ask Starfleet before you basically attacked that planet with chemical weapons, did you?" He's like, "No, I must have forgot." And then Jadzia with a really bad line, sometimes I really like when the bad guys win. I'm just like, what's going on here? Oh my god. The Janeway genocide of the Borg. Yeah, Janeway did nothing wrong. Yeah.
She did.
Oh,
nothing
we're like
wrong.
talking about how Janeway tortured the ransom in Equinox, and I was like, yeah, and she genocides the Borg.
Yeah.
She, I mean, she kills Tuvix. I mean, there's a line. But
Yep.
she
Janeway's
makes
always right,
choices. She has to make choices. Like-
I do have to wonder with the Maquis. Do you think they just give them copies of Les Mis like when they join up? It's like, here's your
I
copy of
hope
Les
so.
Mis. Read it
I
so that
hope
you
so.
can use imagery.
Here's the soundtrack. Here's the book.
24601.
I have to say that being a French literature teacher, the way the Americans read Les Mis is deeply wrong. This is not what the book is saying.
Oh my god.
Every time I watch like Les Mis, the musical, I'm like, I don't think they've read the book. I'm not sure they read the book. Did they read the book? Did they?
Well, they
understood the
skimmed it.
book?
They
Like,
read the footnotes.
It was a lot longer
yeah,
before.
they read like the spark notes or something like that. Like my students, that's what they read.
No, I don't know where you could watch Les Mis, Haven. I'm sure there's like YouTube broadcasts.
There's a number of various
Yeah.
productions. There's one on
Yeah.
Netflix and
Yep.
YouTube, PBS.
I think he wants a Hugh Jackman film.
Oh,
Or
don't
so-
watch it.
So you can
Don't.
watch Russell Crowe sing
do it.
horribly. No,
No.
don't do that to yourself.
This one is so bad.
That's what I got for Betrayals. This was
Yeah.
fun. Let's go to the mailbag where no one got the assignment right, but we're gonna read them anyway because they were fun answers. No, these were good. Who wants to take Haven's mailbag?
I'll take this one. Haven wrote, I have a feeling a number of people are going to be picking Deep Space Nine. Trust me, I thought of doing it myself, but I would say Girardi when she betrayed Commander Bruce Maddox. And my justification for why I pick it is actually because it is the first time since Deep Space Nine we get such a twist in a story, since we heard Captain Sisko give the line, because I couldn't live with it. I can live with it. Computer, erase that entire personal log.
That's not even a betrayal.
I mean,
Not a betrayal.
it's a betrayal of his ethics.
Of the
Ethics.
yeah, okay, fair, but it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah,
We'll
okay.
discuss.
Oh wait, like
yeah.
Girardi, I'm not sure it's a betrayal. She's brainwashed.
She
Yeah.
was straight up
Yeah.
brainwashed and swallowed
Definitely.
a weird blue-looking pill. Yep, I don't
Yeah.
think it's a
Yeah,
betrayal.
I mean,
People always give Girardi shit for this, and I'm like, people forget that she was
Because-
under the influence.
Yeah.
Girardi was terribly written in season 1. Let's be
Oh, yeah.
honest.
Yep.
They did Alison Peel dirty on this one.
Yeah.
Killed it in season 2. One of the
Yeah.
highlights of that season. Few highlights of that season.
But yeah, and we were talking about sleeper agents. She was a sleeper agent.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Was there any more to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Since Girardi betrayed Maddox so much that he never saw it coming, and it gave us a side of Trek I don't think ever was explored before Picard season 1.
I'd have to think about that.
Yeah.
I have to think about that also. I'm
yeah.
like, are we sure? Are we certain?
Yeah.
I mean, T'Pring tried to murder Spock. I mean, that's a badass betrayal.
It's
That's
true.
here.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
like, it's or you or him. Let's go.
Yep. Who wants to read?
I want to do
Yeah,
Simon.
yeah.
And she was not brainwashed. And she was not brainwashed, by the way.
Yep.
T'Pring.
True.
Fair. Simon wrote, humanity betrayed itself by letting the whales go extinct.
Yes.
Damn straight.
Short and
Biggest
sweet.
betrayal. Yes.
Okay, then.
I don't even know how to respond to that. That's brilliant.
Simon's
Yep.
right.
Simon's
Yeah.
right. Who wants to take Matt's?
I'll take it.
I'll take that. No, it's
you
short.
take- okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Give me a short one.
Okay, I'll take Tara's afterwards.
I read all the patrons today.
Okay, go for it. I said go
You
for
did.
it.
You did, Giraffe. You get a biscuit.
Oh, is it Goran trying to throw Martok under the bus for his own strategic blunders in the Dominion War?
Also a good one. And that wasn't Gowron, was it? Wasn't that changeling Gowron, or was that actual
No,
Gowron? I forgot.
Gowron. Wait a minute. Gowron was never a changeling, right?
Yeah, I thought
Who
they
was the
thought he was.
changeling? I forget
Well,
who
they thought Gowron was a changeling, but then it turned out that it was Martok who
That's
was the
right.
changeling.
That's right.
And then
that's right.
Gowron just fucked
Yep,
up on
that's
his own later.
God, I love Deep
Which is
Space Nine.
which is very on brand. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
Very
on
true.
brand.
MC, take it home with Tyrus, please.
Tara wrote, okay, I remembered this a bit differently, but now that I've watched it, there's still a betrayal, but it's all Cardassian. Assuming that counts, in DS9's Sacrifice of Angels, Damar betrays Dukat by shooting his daughter Zial after she admits to helping the Federation. Earlier in the episode, Dukat had explicitly told Damar that nothing was more important to him than she was. So your underling kills your child instead of protecting her. Pretty serious, but not necessarily Starfleet. Very true, it's not Starfleet, but definitely a betrayal, considering
Definitely a
big time.
betrayal.
Damar used it to become like head of the Cardassian, whatever they call themselves.
Right.
And Zial is another tragic mulatto of Star Trek
Yep.
because you need to kill
And
every
yet,
single one
and what's
of the
interesting about this-
biracial
yeah.
characters.
right, exactly. And then Zial, killing Zial, right, is like horrible. It sucks. And then Damar ends up kind of like becoming the hero in season 7, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
So-
I never
weird one.
really liked that part.
Man.
Gotta love Deep Space Nine. I'd love Deep Space Nine.
And as
Mhm.
Tara
yeah.
points out, Dukat goes nuts after that. He a bit nuts. Yeah, he went really nuts.
He went really nuts.
No, very.
I mean, he was nuts to start with, so you
That
know,
is true.
It's, it's
True.
a spectrum.
Speaking of nuts, no, not those nuts.
He's nuts.
He's nuts.
Not these nuts.
Oh!
Hold on. Boom! That took way too long.
All that for that.
Sorry, I had to. Speaking of these nuts, this is like the first episode we've done forever that was like under an hour and a half. So congrats, guys! Well done. We did it. We did it. Enjoy the week off. We will probably, hopefully, have some content for you sometime over the weekend, or at least early, not next week, but the week after, if we're able to record our panel. So stay tuned for that. Has some fun stuff coming up. We will talk to you about Happy Hour this weekend sometime. I'll send a link. We'll talk about it in Patreon. It will happen. Just give me some time to figure some things out. That's it. We can't wait. Me, MC, and Draft. We can't wait to see some of you in Long Island next week. It is going to be fun, maybe a little bit chaotic, maybe a little both. It's going to be great.
Please
Can't
come up
wait.
and say hi to us. Do not be afraid.
Yes,
here.
we
That's
have a
great.
table. We will have goodies, giveaways, all those fun things. So, yes, indeed. Yay, Betrayals. For Hawk, for Eric, for Draft, for MC. I am Julia, and I say live long and prosper. Majram. Good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.